Hey, everybody. Good evening. Welcome to our show this evening. Today is Wednesday, April 1st, 2026. And I'm
your host, Sean Farmer.
And I'm your co-host, Dan Denier.
No?
Oh, sorry. Yeah. That's our little April Fool's Day joke. Ha ha.
Yeah. We promise we won't pull any more jokes the rest of the show.
Yep. No more jokes. Anyways, today is
my favorite day.
What? Hump Day?
My favorite day of the whole year.
Hump Day?
No, April 1st.
Oh, yeah.
I love April 1st.
Yeah, I saw your. Yeah, Dan was a little saucy today with his little roundabout pictures, and he's just home with his little AI program.
Whatever. Oh, yeah.
Speaking of AI, y'all got to check out our cool story. Me and Dan were taking a rocket ride today. If you haven't seen our story on our Instagram page, you gotta go check it out.
The best part of April 1st is when you post things and you get people to bite. You think people think that you actually what you post is actually real.
But you have to make something that's just believable enough that people are like, is that April Fool's or is that real? You know what I mean? Like, it's got to be just.
I just want to thank you for being one of my first subscribers for my OnlyFans.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Is that what it is? Oh, yeah.
Chrome Dome Daddy.
Chrome Dome Daddy. Yeah. Dan. For those of you who don't know, Dan has an OnlyFans. No, this is not April Fool's. This is real. It's called Chrome Dome Daddy.
Retirement's expensive.
Yeah,
I needed to do something to supplement.
He specializes in little people, and that's an inside joke. All right. Anyways, before we go on, I want to remind everybody that the Great American Little Town podcast is independent from the city of Galt. It is strictly for entertainment. We are not a spokesperson for the city of Galt, nor are we a official condone press person for the city of Galt. We are just simply here to entertain you. If you have absolutely nothing else to do and you want to sit and watch two guys on the internet talk about golf, here we are.
You know, if the city ever created a public information officer, I'd put in for that.
They have one.
No, I know, but I mean, just like that, they have one for the police department, right?
Yeah, but they have one for the city too.
Do they?
Yeah,
that's the job I want.
Yeah, the problem is you have to know how to use technical stuff, so you're not going to qualify for that.
I'll be fine. I'll be fine.
I know, but you can't use AI, Dan. You can't like put AI with like.
You just deny everything.
They would
like any other government official, and you just I can't answer that. We don't have that information at this time. I can't answer that. That's all they do.
Well, you don't
deny.
The PIO doesn't stand up at like a podium and say yes, next, and then say okay,
we'll let you know. The press.
But you could do some fancy like impressions of people if you were up there. You could do like
you don't know. You know what's cool?
You could shut people if you were the city PIO. You could like shut people down. You could sit up there and go, "You sir, what do you got?" And they start talking about, "You are the dumbest person in the whole room." Right. I don't know where they find you people. Yeah. You could do like your Donald Trump.
You know what's cool? And this ties in with Galt. One of Galt's alumni, Mark Nunez, is a captain for the Sac Fire Department, and he is their PIO.
Oh, really?
So every now and then, whenever there's a fire, you'll see him on the news. I'm like, hey, I know that guy.
Whenever there's a fire to put out, you see him on the news.
Yeah, when they'll interview him, I see it. I know that guy.
Anyways, we got some really big news today, and the big news of the day is that Kaylin had a birthday yesterday.
Yeah.
Yay! We had she. I can't say her age because that's not late. That's not appropriate for a lady. But anyway, she had a birthday yesterday, and I feel much older than I did a couple days ago.
You should.
Time just goes by. Yeah, it's time flies. I'm telling you. I don't know how many of you have kids that are grown adults, but it makes you really feel old. So, but anyways, so happy birthday to Kaylin.
Yeah, happy birthday.
And
would you like to say anything? No.
Okay. She says no. All right. So those of you who don't know, Kaylin's sitting off screen. She's running this whole shebang. She's the person in the engine room shoveling the coal in the engine to keep it going. So without her, yeah. All right. So, anyways, but really, another big news, and I know some people don't think it's big deals, but the Artemis 2 rocket today, I'm like really excited about this. I mean, some people don't get all excited about. I started like digging down a rabbit hole on this thing a day or so ago. It's actually a really big deal. I mean, people are like, "Oh, it's not going to actually land on the moon. It's just, it's just going to fly by." But the significance of this for me is that the last time that human beings were anywhere near the moon, not just in orbit like the space shuttle and all that, was 2 weeks before I was born. Like, actually, I take that back. It was 1 week before I was born. They came home on December the 19th, 1972. I was born on the 27th. I mean, it's pretty cool. Can you believe it's been 53 years? I mean, when you land on the moon, everybody's like, oh my God, moon landing. And then they had subsequent missions, right? And then all of a sudden for 53 years, nothing. It's just, isn't that kind of weird though?
You know how my sister and I, we talk about big trauma, little trauma as childhood.
Yeah.
When you're a kid, there's big trauma, little trauma.
Yeah.
So this whole thing leading up today, I was watching online most of this morning, and I still in my mind kept waiting for him to not make it.
Oh no, I know, because it was live.
Yeah. It was just all the buildup to it and it just reminded me of all the buildup back in '86. And it's like,
yeah, we're gonna show some cool stuff on the screen. We're gonna show what the Artemis looks like. As a matter of fact, but let's go ahead and show a launch picture right now while we're talking.
They were talking today. They were talking about how one of the focuses on getting back to the moon is they really want to look at the south poles of the moon, because they're convinced that there's maybe ice or some kind of frozen water that they can utilize in order to get to Mars. The whole idea of the moon is to get to Mars.
Right, to test their systems and stuff that they need to, because the next mission will actually try to probably land on the moon, and they want to set up like a base there. Yeah.
And this isn't just a waste of $4 billion, which is what a lot of people have actually said, though, is that this is a waste of $4 billion. So, but it's not. It's more. It's an investment into getting to Mars.
But it's pretty exciting that you're sending people, like, human beings back to the moon, like, around really what people don't realize is, I've heard people online, they're like, they're not gonna actually land on the moon, whatever, but they're actually going around the backside of the moon, right? So this will be the furthest that a human being has ever traveled from the Earth. In 6 days, they'll be at the furthest point.
The two things, it's 3 astronauts and a Canadian, so you got that. I mean, that's
right. But we have some other pictures. I want to show how big this, or let's see what's next. Oh yeah, so here's the bill. Here's the layout of the rocket. So you have the main part, and you have the booster, the solid rocket boosters on the sides, and then you have the little thing where they're at is on this before the tip. That second thing in that middle picture there, that second thing is what's going to propel it, the rest of the way. They have like these solar sails that deploy, which they deployed that today, I guess, and it will kind of catch it, and it will, travel.
They said one of the things I read said that the space inside is equivalent to 2 mini buses or minivans. 2 minivans is how much room 4 people have to live in for 4 days or week, whatever.
Well, you can't be claustrophobic, that's for sure.
But I thought there was they're talking about going around the backside of the moon and coming back around, right? And I could have swore that one of the Apollo missions where they had to kind of do that because they had the slingshot, that was the only way they can get back to Earth. Was one. Oh, the one. It was a mission with Tom Hanks.
Yeah, no, it was something different with the gravitation, but they didn't sling around.
But remember they had, because they had difficulties.
That was Apollo 13.
They had to make like an air filter out of their socks and stuff. Yeah, with Tom, the mission that Tom Hanks was on.
Yeah, Apollo 13.
When he went on.
Yeah, the one Tom Cruise was on. Yeah,
Tom Hanks.
No, I mean Tom Hanks. Yeah. Tom Hanks, Tom Cruise, one of the Toms.
Yeah,
one of the Tom, Dick, and Harry. Somebody.
Yeah, Lieutenant Dan, I think, was in that one too.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Right?
Lieutenant
or
Dan.
was he the
dude?
Guy back
I didn't even think about that. The fact that Forrest and Lieutenant Dan were both on the Apollo 13 mission.
Right. See.
So the next picture we have is see what the next one is. So this is a size comparison, right? So look how big the space shuttle. Now, I've never seen like this in real life, the space shuttle, but if you look at the space shuttle is friggin' massive, right? This thing is so big. They said it's actually taller than Big Ben, slightly taller than Big Ben in London. With the 332 feet. Yeah. And I was reading like the lift off and stuff, like the propulsion and stuff. And it was like, I have it here in a photo. It's 700. So it's 700,000 gallons of cryogenic propellant. I like how they make it sound fancy when they say cryogenic. but it basically burns like 7 tons of fuel every second. 7 tons of fuel. So, and of course, it was probably more expensive to launch today than it would have been last week because the cost of gas went up. And so,
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But anyway, so they launched the thing. The solid boosters came off, and you know what, Dan? I agree with you. I was watching the same thing, and I'm looking at it, and it says live, and it was crazy how it said how many people were live on NASA's little live thing, and it was just the number tick was like 100,000. It was like 110,000, 115,000. It was just skyrocketing right when it was like 10, 9, 8, 7. You see how many people are watching. I was like, wow,
I
there's
actually
a lot
was
of people.
asleep when it launched.
Oh man,
I watched it all morning. I was up all night last night. Watched it all morning.
Dan,
right?
Dan, you fell asleep.
I go to sleep this afternoon, and I'm like, and I woke up. No, I woke up and I asked Jen. I said, "Have they launched yet?" And she goes, "They're on a hold. They're on that 10-minute hold because they held everything all of a sudden."
Okay.
And then I dozed off again.
Oh.
Woke up and she said they made it. I went, oh
gosh. Man. That's crazy. I can't believe you slept through it.
Slept through history.
Yeah. But it's, but in honesty, it is very historic. It's very historic. And
well, and you and I weren't alive when obviously we landed on the moon, right?
No, all the moon missions were completed, like I said. And literally like the last moon mission came home and they landed back on Earth 8 days before I was born.
But I don't think the current generation, I don't think our kids' generation or generations came after, I don't think they can fully understand the amount of interest that the American public put into that moon landing. Like people had viewing parties to sit around and watch the TV, and it was such a big deal.
Well, and think about this, Dan.
It was a promise that Kennedy made.
Yeah, which you didn't get to see.
Right.
Which is crazy. Think about how much technology has passed in 53 years.
Oh, yeah.
How much more technology there is now compared to, but what I was going back to, there
was nothing for him to do.
They didn't have much going on. Yeah. No, but, no, actually, but you know what? His funny is, listen to this. So that we have this whole war thing going on with Iran right now, right? Well,
really?
Well, when the moon landing happened in 1969, we're right in the middle of Vietnam, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there was a lot going on in the world at that time.
Yeah.
I mean, 1969, there was a lot.
Yeah.
There's more technology in your cell phone than what took us to the moon. Oh, they were basically riding on a shoestring. It was crazy, really. But what I was going to say earlier, Dan, in all seriousness, as I'm watching it live, I did think in the back of my mind, like, what feeling would I feel if I just saw something blow up right now on the screen? Like, what would he?
Well, and I think that they had more safety precautions ready for this in the event that things went catastrophic, because the module that they have has all kinds of features built into it that they can eject, or eject it from the rocket itself and then recover.
Right.
And, unlike the space shuttle had at the time when it exploded. And so I think that, they definitely at least.
Yeah. When you're on the space shuttle, it's like if something goes bad, there is no, you're in the seat and you're done. There's no going out. Yeah. Yeah. Weren't you? Oh, Corky says, weren't you guys around for that Apollo mission that blew up? Well, Corky, I hate to break it to you, but there was no Apollo missions that blew up. That was the Challenger space shuttle. That was not Apollo. It's okay, Corky.
One of us was around for the Apollo missions.
I know you graduated from high school and all that, and you're in college. I think is she in college? Yeah. Well, we're gonna give you a pass on that one. She's like, that's like when my daughter was like, so Dad, in World War III, what happened? I'm like, what?
Back in the 1900s.
Yeah. So anyways, but so the last thing we're going to show before we get off this rocket conversation is this is the path that the Artemis is going to take. So it's actually going to fly. So it's going to go around the Earth one time to pick up speed. Kind of like one of those things where, remember when you were a kid and you grabbed the hands and you guys would spin around and you would just let go and throw somebody? It's kind of like that. And then they're going to go all the way to the moon and then around the moon. They're going to go about 5,000 miles. They're going to go about 5,000 miles on the other side of the moon. Think about that. That's like further than east to west coast, right? And then they're going to come around.
Was that Pink Floyd or was that the Who?
Dark Side of the Moon. That would be a great song to play right now. Dark Side of the Moon. Yeah. And then the last picture we have is going to be just to give you some real comparisons about how far the Earth is and how far this thing's traveling. There's this one here, which shows you kind of, again, the flight path and the slingshot. And this last picture we're going to show you, this is to give you real scale of how far the moon is from the Earth. There's the Earth, right? Typically the space shuttle and the space station, all the stuff we've been doing for the last 50 years, all just circles that little thing on the left right there, right? They're going all the way out there.
Yeah.
That's got to be a very heavy feeling when you're in a spacecraft traveling 500,000 miles. Yeah, ISS. Thanks, Nate.
It was the fire was on the launch pad when the 3 astronauts were already in the space capsule.
Yeah. Apollo 1 at the fire that killed. That was Man, there's a lot of lives that were lost, man, in the space program.
And that's the thing I don't think people understand is just how dangerous. I mean, we've seen things over the years now with the Challenger and the Columbia disasters, but like this launch today, like I said, I didn't really expect it to go as well as it's gone far, and it's still not over. I mean, they can get to the backside of the moon and not be able to make that curve to come back or overshoot something. Like everything has to be so precise. If they overshoot or if they have too much speed coming in or if they have this is a big deal.
I mean, Dan, let's be honest. You just said it, you're like, this could be very, I mean, what's dangerous about getting on the very top of a rocket the size of Big Ben that weighs 5.9 billion tons, okay? Million tons, not billion, million. And then having 700,000 gallons of highly volatile jet fuel exploding per second and launching you into the freaking atmosphere of the United. I mean, that's not dangerous. Come on.
Have you ever gone back and watched Reagan's speech to the nation that night?
No.
After the space shuttle blew up?
Oh yeah, no, yeah, right. Yeah.
Like whether you like Reagan, whether you don't like Reagan, I don't want to get into politics.
I liked Reagan.
But the speech he gave that night was just he just basically gave the nation a hug from the White House.
I remember that.
And then, of course,
I think I was in the 6th grade.
Then, of course, today Trump had his
4th grade
speech scheduled for tonight, which I didn't get a chance to watch yet. But I thought to myself, was he planning on giving a hug to the nation? If something went bad, or I don't know. But I'm glad to see it. It's so far it's successful, and I hope it continues to be successful.
So the space shuttle blew up in 86.
86. Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm. You know what's interesting about this flight?
That's right. But I was trying to think of
what's kind of cool about it is all the cameras they have set up, and you can watch so much more of what's going on inside there now, and even when they were loading up into the capsule today, you could watch it, and it was kind of neat. They were explaining what was going on, and
no.
No, what?
Listen, the Challenger was 86. Which Columbia disintegrated coming into reentry? When was that?
Reentry. That was 2014.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
The Challenger was 86.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking, that can't be right.
Yes, it's right. It was. I believe it was January of 86. But.
I mean, that would make me 14 when it happened. I don't remember being that old. I would have been in high school. I was in Galt High when that happened.
Maybe you were 8th grade.
No, I was a freshman at 13. I don't know. Anyways, well, either I got my memories fuzzy or something. But anyways, yeah, we got one more. Okay, what we got? Oh yeah. So, by the way, if you notice this next picture, so we were able to negotiate a little sponsorship from NASA, and so I pulled some strings. We were able to get our sticker on the rocket. It was last minute. I mean, it was a last minute thing. It happened late last night. A lot of people didn't know about it, but we were able to get the logo on there. So unfortunately, I think this is on the piece that is going to disintegrate. So there's no evidence. So, I mean, I wish there could have been, but I don't know.
Yeah. That's like the outside of the capsule.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. But then also we know
we'd like to thank our sponsors.
Yeah. Our new sponsors. Done, yeah. For sponsoring our podcast. We thank you guys for that. Yeah. They were able to, throw the flag up. They were getting ready to board into the spacecraft and they held up the flag. We were able to get a picture and then they texted to us. Thanks. We appreciate it. So, yeah. Anyways, this was the advertising deal of the century. Yeah. Yeah. This cost us $1.8 million. So we just gave them an IOU. We told them we'll pay for it when we make it big.
I like that.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. That's cool though. Huh?
That is cool.
It's a cool picture. Yeah. We're going to use this a little more as the spacecraft thing goes on, the hype of it. But anyways, all right. Well, enough about the spacecraft, but anyways, huge news.
We'll probably get tagged for some monetary thing.
Yeah, that's we'll get copyright. We're gonna get copyrighted. Yeah. What part of a Galt advertising? Was that a part of the Galt advertising campaign?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, exactly. Anyway, so what else is going around town? We talked about Dan's OnlyFans account. So we talked about that already. I had that written down to make sure we talk about it. So Dan and I went to the Galt Boosters dinner Saturday night.
And
it was a big deal. Dan won a couple things at the raffle, which we're going to be giving some stuff away. Here's Dan and I chilling at the event. We had to pose, with the little thing here, and
they had some great.
It was a good event.
They had some great auction items. They had some great raffle items. They had it was well attended. It was really a great dinner.
It was.
Food was good. It's their first one that they've done, and they put it together and they knocked it out of the park.
I mean, the Galt Boosters dinner used to be like the place to go back in the day. That was the premier event, right? We have so many events now for fundraisers for different nonprofits and things, crap feeds and stuff like that. But the Boosters dinner used to be a really, really big deal. And it was like it was the place to go. And so for them to bring this back and try to, I think it's good. They did a good job.
Yeah,
they did a good job.
They did really well.
Happy to be there.
I was very happy.
We have another.
Jen and I both were talking afterwards. We both had a good time.
Hitting the Kevin James pose. What's the Kevin James pose? What is that? Kevin, I have no idea what that is.
That's what we're doing. I don't know.
Yeah. We're looking very dashing here. All right. So next picture I think is of the dinner too. I think we were posing with somebody, if I recall. Yeah. So, Allie.
Our co-host,
Alligator, as they call her. Yeah, she was on our show before, and she wanted to take a picture with us, so that we were obliged her.
And I don't know if you got a picture of the list of all the sponsors for this thing. There was a huge list of names of sponsors to help to put this thing on, donations and things like that.
All small businesses.
And it's interesting. A lot of those sponsors are the same sponsors that we have on our list for the show.
They are.
But it does take a community to put something like this on, and it does take a community for an event like this to be successful. And from what I've heard, they were very successful that night, and I'm already looking forward to next year's. But I did tell one of the people there they should sell those aprons with the white G's on them.
Yeah,
because I think that'd be a neat gift. And
that'd be
I'd
cool.
like to have one for when I barbecue.
For when you barbecue, barbecue,
or I could just put it on when I eat, so I don't get my shirts all stained up.
That would be good. You could wear it.
You
could wear it when we go to breakfast. Yeah. All right. I don't know if we have any more pictures of the dinner, so we'll move on. The next thing I want to remind everybody, this is more of a safety thing. And my God, the Kevin James pose. Look up Kevin James pose. That is the Kevin James pose. That's funny. I want to remind everybody to remember that we have a new stop sign at Carillion and Bossow Road. So we're Carillion tees into Bossow. They have a new stop sign up. I've already heard from people that are saying they're very thankful for it. However, people have been rolling through it already. Because I think, and I think they have the flashing sign out there that says, stop and all that, but people are just, I don't know. People just don't pay attention.
But they should have put up a roundabout with a cow, like I posted on
the one you posted,
the one I posted on Facebook today.
Yeah. You know what? Somebody made a suggestion. Of having, they have the stop signs that has the light up things around the stop and it blinks red. That would be a good idea, but I don't know how much.
I'm not going to retire until every four-way intersection in Galt has a roundabout.
Oh God! Well, I guess you're never going to retire then.
Yeah. I want one in every four-way intersection from now on. That's how much I love them.
Harry Wenzel says, "Can we have aprons with the new logo on them?" Which new logo? What does he mean? Elaborate. Oh, the new Galt logo. Oh, okay.
Maybe the one you guys are coming up with, or maybe our logo. I wouldn't have.
I don't know what he's referring to, but anyways, so some other stuff going on.
Galt branding, yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, we'll work on that. We'll see. So we have some events coming around. We want to share some events real quick before we get into the meat potatoes. So those of you who don't know what we're going to talk about, we have a couple good topics tonight. Let me just give you a little teaser because it'll be a few minutes before we get there. We are going to be talking about small businesses versus chain businesses or franchise / corporate, whatever. We're going to talk about that. There's been some chatter about this on the JT Thomas actually did a video about this. We're going to dive into that a little bit. And then we're also going to be talking about another subject, which was brought up by a comment on social media about how people say that there's really nothing going on for kids in town, that we don't have anything fun, and so on and so forth. So we were going to talk about some of this stuff. So those are going to be two things that we're going to talk about. We're also going to mention about the e-bike enforcement that's been ramping up. We were on the news recently about that, so we'll touch on that. So these are some of the things that are coming down in just a little while. So the first event here is coming up. This is tomorrow, actually, from noon to 1:30. It's the senior tea and dance. Dan will be there.
I will,
because he's a senior. And he'll be having tea. He'll have his tea hat on, and he'll be with this pinky like this, drinking tea.
And he's a socializer more.
Yeah, he's going to be the guy. He'll be the socialite there. It's at Cibola Center.
I wonder if I can use that for my podcast, my OnlyFans.
Your OnlyFans, yeah. You should go see if any of the seniors want to be part of your OnlyFans.
Oh.
Anyways,
senior fans.
We'll edit that out of the show later, that comment. Okay. Anyways, all right. So the Cedar Tea dance. What else we got, Kalen? Let's see. The Touch a Truck. This is the Saturday market event. This Saturday, this is going to be a big one. This is a big one. It is every year. Very, very popular. The weather's supposed to be phenomenal. So it's supposed to be like 80 degrees that day. Tons of vehicles, huge vehicles. I'm doing my Donald Trump thing again. Very huge, probably the best trucks ever. We're looking into it. I don't know. Police cars, military vehicles. I'm going to bring some cool stuff out there. Kids can climb around and stuff, take pictures in it. This is not just like a car show. This is like very interactive, and it's always a big hit. And I'm sure they're going to have some really cool stuff out there. Probably some heavy machinery, dump trucks, all kinds of, I think they had like some Caterpillars out there last time, little Bobcats and things and stuff. So this is Saturday, April 4th. This is the first Saturday, we're back in the Saturday market season for the year. So it starts at 9:00 and goes till 2:00. Again, something for kids, huge event. Kids, just going to say, can you touch the fireman? You can. I mean, I don't know what they're going to do back to you. I mean, he's like, I don't want to touch the truck. I want to touch the fireman. Especially that one right there. Anyways, speaking of firemen, did you know this? This is off topic, but did you know that the police department in Sunnyvale is not called the Sunnyvale Police Department? It's called the Sunnyvale Department of Public Safety. And all the police officers, they're cross-trained. They have to be firemen and EMT and police officers. So there is no fire. They're cross-trained.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah, I think that's
bizarre.
I think that's something you see a little bit more back east sometimes.
But I mean, if you think about so they're the highest paid and all around, their starting salary is huge. But I'm like, well, they probably can afford to pay them if they're not paying firemen and police officers. They're like, yeah, it makes sense. So, all right. So, anyways,
the Saturday market, this is the second one of the season, and last month was packed. It was a great turnout, and the weather's supposed to be good again this weekend. So
this one's going to be bigger. So day before Easter.
Get there early. Get some. They had a last one. They had an actual produce vendor that took up a pretty good section of the thing, and he had some great produce. So, yeah.
All right. Next event we got that's coming up is our shred event. This is a skateboarding event. I always say that, but really it's a shred event. If you have classified documents, you need them. If you have any of like the Epstein files or any JFK documents, pertaining to the grassy knoll or, the fake lunar landing in 1960, any of that stuff, and you need it shredded before the government gets it, you can bring it up here and you can shred it. You can bring like 2 or 3 boxes, I think, and they'll shred it for you. So 4/11/26. Next event is the
be able to burn everything, but not
community garage sale, April 18th. This is, again, we've been talking about this. This is at the market grounds. This is basically like a big garage sale, but for people of Galt. It costs $25 to get a booth, and it's going to be on the market grounds. It'll be on a Saturday, so it's not like Tuesday, Wednesday, like the Galt Flea Market. This is like a weekend thing. So what's different about it? This is a cool idea. We've been asking them to do this for a long time. I think they have done it once before. I think. But anyways, so if you want to sign up, you can contact Parks and Recreation at 366-7168, or you can email the City of Galt. You can call just Parks and Rec and tell them you want to put you in touch with whoever, so you can sign up to be a vendor for the garage sale community thing. Next event is going to be the Cow Plot Bingo. This is put on by the Chamber of Commerce along with Ronsby and Johnson Real Estate Group. Saturday, April 25th. So what they're going to do is they're going to have, if you don't know what Cow Plot Bingo, this is a real deal. This is a real thing. This is not just a Galt thing. This is like a real thing. So they lay out a grid. I don't know how big of a grid it's going to be. I'm not sure exactly where, and then you like pay for a square. And then
they've started selling squares already.
Yeah, they started selling squares already. And then they walk the cow around, and wherever the cow does its duty, you win prizes. So
I like the ad. It's got 2 19s, 2 13s, 2 24s. They're already a little fishy.
Yeah. See, that's AI for you.
Right.
Can't get it's got double numbers. Yeah. So anyways, it's 6 to 10 p.m. in the evening. Unless, of course, the cow doesn't have to go to the restroom, then it could go much longer. It could be midnight. Who knows? Depends on how he might be constipated. We'll have to see.
6 to 10.
Yeah. All right. Next, we have Taco de Mayo. We've been talking about this. This is the Galt Rotary's big to do every year. And it is on the 2nd. So this is still a month out, but we're still advertising. 5 to 9. You want to find out more about Taco de Mayo? You can email. I think there's an email on here. Or you can call 916-662-6915. Or you can contact Galt Sunrise Rotary. Or you can scan one of the QRs. We'll throw this flyer up on our social media too, so people can. But the tables are going quick. As a matter of fact, I think they've already sold out. I think they've already sold out all the tables, but they have individual tickets left. So if you want to get in, it's a big event. I'm telling you. There's also a tea party at the Grange on the 18th. Corky just threw it up in the chat. The Grange Hall on the 18th. There's a tea party there, so you can go to the. So Dan, once you get done with the senior tea, you can go over to the Grange and have tea there. You can
I won't be here on the 18th.
Oh, that's right. That's right. You're gonna be gone.
I'm gonna miss all these fantastic things.
Yep. All right. Next event we have. What do we got? Oh, we already talked about the stop sign. Is that it? All right. That's it. That's our stuff that's in the queue right now. There might be some others, but actually there's some Easter stuff going on.
I was gonna say this Sunday's Easter.
Yeah, I don't have the flyers for them. Oh, actually, we do have flyers for them. We have 2 events. We have 2 egg hunt. One of them is a chamber egg hunt thing going on, and another one is for Real Life Church, I believe.
Is there something out at the McFarland's? That's a kite event.
I'm not sure they're doing the extravaganza this year. Yeah. Are they doing this extravaganza? So, gosh, I'm sure they are, but I don't have a flyer for that. Anyways, this is a free community egg hunt at Galt Community Park. This is a big deal. Real Life Church has been advertising this, called the Eggtastic Free Community Egg Hunt. 12,000 eggs. Jesus.
Oh my gosh.
Wow, that's a lot of eggs. I mean, how do you hide 12,000 eggs? I mean, they're going to be in plain sight practically. Anyways, it's a free event. They're going to have a climbing wall, a live DJ, inflatables, food trucks, carnival games. Wow, that's a big.
You know how hard it is to buy pickled eggs in California?
I wouldn't know. I don't eat pickled eggs.
I love pickled eggs. There you go. That's the one.
All right, here we go. Oh, here it is. Saturday, April the 4th, 2026. So actually, that's the same day as the Tetra Truck.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, so 2 things going on. Extravaganza Kite Day. This is at
want to go to the other.
Yeah, exactly. This is at McFarland Ranch. So at the end of Orr Road. It's 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. And this is an event that does every year. And this event is quite large.
15,000 Easter eggs.
Oh, well, I'm going to do an event that's going to have 15,100 Easter eggs. We're really going to up the bar on this thing. So we have Extravaganza April 4th, and we also have Touch a Truck. They're both running 9 to 2, both of them. You can hit one and go to the other, vice versa.
Easter Bunny pictures, right? You know how they have Santa pictures, you have Easter Bunny. I've never seen an Easter Bunny that's not creepy.
No, they're all creepy.
All the kids Easter Bunny pictures are creepy.
And the kids are going to be their kids. There's always a picture with the bunny. The bunny's smiling, and the kid's just like,
how is that not supposed to? Again, soft drama, big drama. What a little drama, big drama as a kid.
Yeah.
Oh, Easter still bugged me.
Yeah. We also have a chamber egg hunt event going on. This is where one that involves businesses. You can go into the Galt Chamber. This is ongoing this week. You can go into Galt Chamber Commerce office here at 417 C Street, and you get a little paper, and you go around to these businesses, and you have them stamp it, and then you come and drop it off. They have the whole lobbies in there filled with all kinds of bags. You drop, and there's prizes. There's like
good prizes out there.
I saw a BMX bike in there. I saw all kinds of stuff in there. They're going to be giving away. So if you want to check out this egg hunt. They're doing it for the spring break for the kids.
And the participating businesses, I think you can pick up the paper from them also.
Yeah.
I heard.
Mm-hmm. So, so check out the Galt Chamber of Commerce's social media. There's a lot of information about it on there. So you can check it out. So I think that's it for the event. So so what else is Dan? So Dan and I were a part of a meeting. I don't want to go into the details of this meeting because we're going to talk about it on a future show about kind of what it was about. But we had a joint City Council Planning Commission meeting. The first time that I know of that the planning commission, the Galt Planning Commission and the Galt City Council had a joint meeting all together, all 10 of us with all the staff and everything in one room. It was like almost 4 hours. It was a lengthy meeting. And we're not going to go into what it was about. Very important stuff. But anyways, we're going to
tell them what the, like, we don't have to go into it, but it was design review.
It's a design standards review. So what we're doing is we're trying to go too deep. But to go into it, explain, people don't understand unless you explain it. But anyways, so the problem with our municipal code right now is some of our design standards are not strict enough. So you get developers that come in and they want to build things, and we don't have what's called objective design standards. Our design standards are more like subjective. So they say you should do this or you should do that, but they don't say you have to do this or you shall do that. So we're trying to beef up all that stuff. We're trying to lack of a better word, we're trying to get really, really picky, because you can always make concessions and allow a builder, okay, we're fine if you make those houses not have this. But if you don't have those standards in there, they can pretty much build whatever the hell they want to build. And as you know, people get very upset in this town with some of the houses that are being built, the way they're being built, the look of some of them are not. So we're kind of trying to
changes in the laws by the state of California over the last 10 years or so, put the ball in the builder's court. Right. And what we're trying to do is put the ball back in the city's court.
Well, not as far as controlling the growth, because we're still up
against the corner. We're talking about what the buildings look like and things like that.
Yeah. So basically what we're trying to do is we're trying to put some control back into the hands of the planning commission on exactly when it comes to design stuff, like saying we want a house to look like this. We want it to look like that. We want to whatever. And these are just guidelines, and it's just giving you guys more tools meaning the planning commission, more tools to get the type of product that you guys want, or not that you guys want, but you to think that it's best for the community, because that's what you're doing. Yeah. So anyways, we're going to talk way more in depth about this in a couple of weeks when we have someone else on the show.
It was a good meeting.
Yeah, but a good meeting, and it was a unprecedented meeting.
There was a member of the newspaper there, so there should be an article in the paper probably this week.
Yeah. So before we go on to our next topic, I want to thank our sponsors real quick, because if it wasn't for our sponsors, we wouldn't be here. That's the Galt Chamber of Commerce, Velvet Grill and Creamery, Chandler Gross Group, Frontier Performance Lubricants, River Rock Brewery, Parker Realty, Casey Boyd Insurance, NorCal Spreading, Azevedo Quality Harvesting, and Sean Farrell. We're going to mention some others here in a little bit, but those are the ones for now. So thank you to all you folks for continuing to sponsor our show, and give Dan and I something to do on a Wednesday night.
If you hit a rabbit on Easter when you're driving a car, you don't get an Easter basket the rest of the year. Your Easter basket gets taken away. You can't hit the Easter bunny on Easter.
What would make you think of something like that right now?
Read that comment.
Oh, when I first got my license, I hit a rabbit on Easter on Rinky, and I cried. Oh my gosh, really?
You killed the Easter bunny.
Oh my gosh, I remember. I don't remember that. That's terrible. That is terrible. That's like an omen right there. Yeah. So anyways, I don't know if you guys have been seeing, but
a reindeer on Christmas.
So Galt PD is ramping up the e-bike enforcement. Channel 13 came down, did a little news story on it, interviewed a local e-bike rider, older guy, gentleman who's rides a real e-bike, and kind of picked his brain, did a little video in town and stuff. But it's funny that it caught the attention of the news, because we're not the only town that, there's towns everywhere that are dealing with this.
There was somebody else. There was another town that like did like 30 something bikes or whatever, impounded like 30 something bikes.
It was more than that.
Like it was,
Yeah. But it's a real thing. And I know that there's been, so Galt PD, posted a picture. I think we have that picture where they impounded their first bike. And you know what? This is the thing. Look, they didn't just start off doing this. And this is basically what their social media post said. It said we didn't rush into this for over 6 months. So they've done massive education. They literally went to the schools. I don't know how many, maybe if some of you don't have kids, you don't know this, but they actually worked with the school district, and they did like, what do you call, not a rally, but what do you call it? When you have something where the kids get together at the schools? Like an assembly. Yeah. Got an assembly where they had officers educating the kids on what's legal, what's not legal in an e-bike, the e-bike, protocols, make sure you're wearing your helmets. And they even had a whole bunch of, they gave away helmets for free. They did a whole helmet giveaway, right, to the kids. They did this at the elementary schools and stuff. And then they also did a bunch of social media, right? Galt PD is, and we actually did some stuff on our show. We had Officer Steele here, a motor officer, talked very in depth about all the e-bike stuff, trying to just get the word out so the people wouldn't be blindsided by the enforcement. But some kids and parents who are buying their kids things just didn't get the hint. And so we have been getting a lot of complaints still, like on the daily basis, complaints to PD, to city.
Right. And the complaints are from the public who are almost getting hit by the bikes or almost hitting the bikes because they're coming out of nowhere when they're driving their car or whatever. Yeah.
And some people have said, there was a couple of comments. We saw some people where they said, kids are just trying to have fun. It's better this, they're not out, at least they're not out doing drugs or causing trouble or whatever. They're just out there riding their bike. At least they're not sitting at home on a video game ride. They're out in the public. And I totally understand what you're saying, because that is a thing that we are definitely lacking with today's youth, is they all want to sit in front of a screen and they don't want to get outside and actually in the fresh air and do things. And bicycles do that. I mean, I was a big bicycle guy. Trust me, my bicycle was my life when I was younger. But this is not. And then one guy said, well, we used to build ramps. We used to jump ramps. And, I never wore a helmet. We just do crazy jumps and stuff. And yeah, believe me, I did crazy jumps and stuff too. I have scars to prove it. But the only people I was endangering typically was myself. Okay. This is not just about a kid not wearing a helmet and we're worried about the kid getting hurt. We're worried about kids getting hurt. We're worried about kids getting hit by cars and getting killed because they don't have helmets on. But this is also very much about the danger to pedestrians and other people by the kids riding illegal e-motorcycles, electric motorcycles that are not bicycles, and all these other things that are not meant for the road or not, in the right class. Dan, let me ask you this. What would imagine you were driving down the street and some kid just zipped out in front of you, right? And it was not your fault. Like he just cut right in front of you. There's nothing you could do and you ran that kid over. Okay. You would have to live with that. Now you could be like, well, it wasn't my fault, whatever, but you still would live with that, knowing that you ran a kid over. I know how I would feel. That would be something very hard to live with. And it's not fair that this is a serious, I know you're going, yeah, no.
I was a correctional officer for 30 years.
Yeah, but this is a serious thing. Like people would have to live with that.
But the thing is like this picture here, this isn't a bicycle. That's an e-motorcycle.
I mean, it doesn't even
That's an e-motorcycle. That's not an and there's e-cars, right? You got Teslas and all these electric cars nowadays. So, you go from electric cars to electric motorcycles to electric bikes. I get it. But the thing is this isn't focused on, if I have an electric bicycle that's got the wheel that still has the pedals, right? Mm-hmm. And maybe it's an assist in it. Okay. If it's got a smaller motor, it goes under a certain speed. That's this class. Then there's this class of e-bikes. And there's this class. There's different classifications to the bikes. And depending on what classification depending on the size of the motor, depending on the speed, depending on things like that, there's different requirements for each one.
Now, to play devil's advocate, though, people could say, well, it sounds confusing. Like there are 3 classes. How do I know it's confusing. But with the internet,
you have to educate
but
yourself.
You can Google and find that stuff out like literally in a second. You could even call PD. Call PD would be happy to tell you what some of the guidelines are. But the easy one for those that are watching, if you are someone whose child is looking to buy an e-bike or you're looking to get one or whatever, the simple thing is if it doesn't have pedals, if it's just got pegs, it's illegal, period. Like it is an off-highway vehicle, just like a motorcycle, like a dirt bike. And that's not allowed anywhere, bike lane, streets, anywhere. So when you get into the classes is when you're talking about pedals. It has a pedal assist. Mm-hmm. There's size of motors. I believe it's 750 watts or less is the ones that were children. But some of them actually, if they're powerful enough, require you to have a driver's license. You have to be 16.
Right.
And there is some requirements on the class 3s. And so you just always say is do your homework.
And some of them have to be registered with DMV, some don't, all this stuff. But yeah, if you're going to buy something, educate yourself on it first. Educate yourself on what the rules and the laws and whatever are. These are new items. Sometimes when new items, new technology comes out, sometimes it takes a minute for the laws to catch up with whatever the item is.
Right.
And I think in some cases, that's kind of what you're seeing in a little bit of this. But, the idea is, well, for a lot of parents is, hey, I've got this electric bicycle. Little Billy wants it. We buy it, give it to him. It's no different than any other bike, but it is different than another bike. You know why I don't ride bicycles?
No, but you're going to tell us.
I'm going to tell you. because you should wear a helmet if you ride a bicycle, right?
Okay.
They don't make bicycle helmets big enough to fit my head.
Hence the Chrome Dome Daddy.
That's right. If somebody were to find me a bicycle helmet to fit my head, I would actually start riding a bike. I guarantee you. It might be an electric one because I don't know if I want to pedal. But
did you know that Dan was in a commercial once in a commercial on TV? I'm serious. I don't know if you guys remember, but they used to have the Jack in the Box commercials, and one of the Jack in the Box commercials, they had this young kid. And he was running, and Jack, with the he's like, "That's my son, number 51." And there's the kid running. He had this ginormous football helmet. It was like, really, that was Dan.
Yeah, I have a very large head, but it is
a very large head.
But I don't think this. You're not just seeing the enforcement in Galt. You're going to start seeing this enforcement everywhere. So,
yeah.
But the other thing too, I saw somebody posted, this like dirt track and said, "Oh, the city should build this dirt track for
a pump track."
Yeah. And, you go back to when we were kids, we had Honda Hills. Now, every time you went out to Honda Hills, you were actually trespassing on private property.
Well, pump tracks are around. Elk Grove has one. Lodi doesn't have one, but Elk Grove has one. But the problem with pump tracks is, look, we live in a state that is super difficult to get insurance for certain things. Now, somebody said, well, you can sign waivers because you go out to such and such and you sign a waiver and whatever. Then people were disputing that, saying, no, waivers don't hold up in court. People can still sue and all that. I can't comment. I don't know the exact rule. I have also heard that waivers don't hold up anymore and that insurance is super hard to get for that kind of thing. I don't know. I don't have the real facts on that, but I can tell you that either way, something like that would be cool for Galt, but for someone to open that and maintain it and get insured, I don't know. So, waivers mean nothing in California. In California, you cannot sign away your right to sue.
I believe that. Yeah.
I believe you are right, Rick. And that's why I think that people, So, but here's the thing: you don't need a pump track to still have fun. I grew up in Galt when it was much smaller. We went around and found things to ride. We went over to my buddy's house who had a half pipe, and another guy had a ramp, and this and that. And we found fun things to do on our BMX bikes. So you don't necessarily need a pump track. By the way, we are getting our new skate park in Galt. It's actually out for construction bid. It won't be done by the end of this year. It's slated to be open spring of next year, but it is being constructed much bigger and much larger. We'll show some pictures of it on a future show, but we are getting a new skate park, half cement, half modular. It's kind of got some different things in it, but anyways, about the e-bike thing. So just everybody be safe. Galt PD doesn't want to impound people's vehicles, but if it comes down to the risk that a pedestrian or a child or a driver can get in an accident, there can be a fatality because of somebody's negligence driving an e-bike, not following general rules. They're gonna drop the hammer, and it's gonna be citations and it's gonna be impounding. And there is some cities that are actually charging the parents. There was a kid, I forget which town, he actually hit someone on his e-bike, and there was a fatality. The city is actually filing charges, filing manslaughter charges against the parents. Mm-hmm. So it can go really sideways, people. So just do your education before you buy your kids stuff like that. Okay. So, and if you have any questions, feel free. You can email us.
If anybody has an e-bike they want to get rid of, just reach out to me. Let me know.
Yeah. If you want to give away for free,
and if anybody has a helmet that'll fit me, reach out to me.
Yeah. So
that's the challenge. That ought to be one of our raffle challenges, is see if anybody can find a helmet big enough to fit my head, and if they do, we'll give them a raffle prize.
If anybody watching can find an extra large helmet to fit this noggin right here, let us know. I'd love it.
It's got to be like an 8.5.
Would you wear it on the show if you found it?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. All right. You heard it. He'll wear it on the show like a crash test dummy. So speaking of things for kids to do, right? There has been a lot of chatter, and sometimes you see a lot of it, and other times you don't see a lot of it. But it's a frequent conversation where people say, "There's nothing to do in Galt for kids. We don't have anything to do, and if we had this or if we had that, it would be so much better." I saw somebody post the other day that said the city got rid of the bowling alley and the city got rid of the movie theater, and because of that, there's nothing here to do. Well, first of all, I know we talked about this. If I had a nickel for every time I hear about this friggin' bowling alley in this movie theater, first of all, the city didn't shut those things down. Those things went under because they just didn't get enough support.
Couldn't support themselves. Yeah.
They couldn't support themselves. Yeah. Because this conversation has been brought up, the Galt movie theater and the Galt bowling alley both closed in 1983. Mm-hmm. Okay. So let me tell you, neither one of those things were something that was a big deal for us kids in Galt. They just weren't. Like, I went to one movie at the Galt theater. It was a crummy movie. They mainly started at the end. They started playing Spanish speaking movies, and even like
adult films
at the very, I mean,
can you imagine today if there was a movie theater still on Lincoln Way and C Street
that played adult
films in Galt? If that's what they advertised was adult theater.
Yeah. People want to talk about
people of
the friendly neighborhood page that just
but that's where people want to go back to. Wow, we used to have this, we used to have that. Okay, you had one that showed adult films.
Maybe that's
do you want to come back to that? I mean, is that what we want in the heart of Galt? Yeah. I don't think so.
No, I mean that's not what they want though, Dan. They want a real
but it's just theater, it just that's what we had. But people forget what we actually had. But the thing people want to remember what they think we had.
The thing with the movie theater is though, Lodi has a movie theater and there's movie theaters around, but the concept, the business model of a movie theater is really kind of going away, right? I mean,
the other thing too.
I love movie theaters, but
in '83, when the theater and the bowling alley shut down, Elk Grove didn't have a movie theater bowling alley.
Yeah,
they didn't have one.
Yeah.
So it's not like it was because there was other competition nearby. Lodi had them,
but when we wanted to see a movie, Dan, we went to Lodi because the movie theater here was terrible, and it just So I mean, the thing of it is, it's not likely anybody's going to ever. It's not likely anybody's going to ever. Wow, that sign just got bright all of a sudden. It's like haunted in here.
Yeah,
Get
the holy water out.
There's a remote for that somewhere.
Get the holy water.
Yeah.
God bless you.
Yeah,
it's Easter. You know what? Hey, it's Easter Sunday. Maybe the sign was resurrected.
It's somewhere over there or something, or it's somewhere. I don't know where it's at. Anyways, it's crazy. It's so bright. It got hot all of a sudden too. Let there be light. Okay. Anyways, so, anyways, we're talking about with your boy. So in the bowling alley, right? The bowling alley was like the old people went there and they bowled. Like we kids, they had a few cool arcade games in there.
I can't say old people. I mean, my dad bowled a couple days a week.
Yeah, but I mean, bowling is like kind of more popular now with young people. But here's the thing: Lodi has a new bowling alley, right? It's pretty nice. I haven't been in yet, but I bet you if you were to ask like 100 kids and just random kids in Lodi, how often do you go to the new movie theater that's in Lodi? I bet you maybe half of them. Oh yeah, I've been there. I don't think it's like a big thing with the kids as much as people think.
No, I think movie theaters I think movie theaters have.
Well, the movie theater bowling alley, I don't remember what I
reduced quite a bit just because of prices and stuff. You stay at home, watch everything on Netflix or these other streaming apps now. But even a lot of kids just want to sit in their computers though and play their games and stuff too.
I
haven't been to the bowling alley in Lodi, the new one, but from what I've heard, it's not cheap. It's like $100 to rent the lane, and whereas it used to be $1.50 a game or 50 cents to rent shoes, or it's not those days anymore. So even if we had something like that, how many kids could afford to just go to the bowling alley and do things like that? I get the idea is, hey, there's nothing to do, but I have newspaper articles from the 70s in Galt where people were talking about there's nothing for the kids to do. And at that time we had a bowling alley.
Dude, I used to be so bored in Galt. Like I was so bored back in the day. We would literally go to other towns because it was so boring. Again, I liked growing up in that Galt, but I'm not gonna lie, it was boring.
But you know what else we do have today that I don't that we didn't have? There's a teen center in this town. There's a teen center. There's a place for teenagers to go and hang out at night and on weekends and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like we didn't have that before, but we have it. I don't think it gets utilized to the level that it should, but we have it.
So now,
we also had what was the Boys and Girls Club at one time.
Mm-hmm.
Would it be nice to see something like that come back? Sure. Is it, but is that something that the city has control over? Not really. But maybe we get the YMCA to open up a thing here. I don't know.
So I'm going to throw this comment up. I want to throw a screenshot of this. Does Galt provide any community activities for kids and teens? Yes, Corky, they do. And we're going to talk about that right now. Okay. Oh, by the way, somebody mentioned ice skating ring. Oh, Debbie did. So somebody said, oh, the skating ring closed. So we looked it up. The skating ring closed in Galton like 1964, just so you know, at least the one that was in the Esther Ballroom. So here's a picture that we're throwing up. So here's a post. Here's a post that somebody threw up. They said they got rid of the bowling alley and they got rid of our movie theater. Okay, false. But here's the comment right here. This town has never, see the word never? Mm-hmm. This town has never done anything to support children. Then he goes on to say, but we have plenty of bars to support drinking. Build a John's Incredible Pizza or someplace where children can go play arcade games. So first of all, building another pizza parlor with the arcade games. Stratton's has tons of arcade games. I go in there, I see kids playing them, whatever. But building another, a John's Incredible with the games, like a Chuck E. Cheese type thing, right? That's what John's Incredible Pizza. I mean, yeah, that would be something. But here's the thing: the city doesn't.
We actually had a business one time. There was a business open in town.
Someplace fun.
That was, but I'm talking about on Lincoln. There was a guy on Lincoln one time that had nothing but video games and arcade games.
And guess what?
It didn't last.
It went under.
Right.
Yeah. You want to know why? Because more kids wanted to sit home and play games at home, and it didn't survive. Right. That's the thing. So what I want to comment about is this thing about this. This says this town has never done anything to support children. What's disappointing about that comment is that it is almost a slap in the face to so many people who volunteer in this town to do things for kids. Like, you're talking about tons of sports programs. Like, first of all, I'm not even going to get into all the sports stuff, but there is all the Parks and Rec sports. There is GYB baseball. There's the softball sports program. There's County Line soccer. All of those things, and we're talking about not hundreds, we're talking about thousands of kids. County Line soccer has like 1,200 kids just in County Line by itself, right? But besides those, here's some things I got from Galt Parks today. This is what the city does for children. All right. So again, we have a comment. This town never does anything to support children. Galt Parks and Rec has the Galt Gators, which is swim team. Yeah. It also has public swim every Memorial Day and Labor Day. That's free. They also have swim lessons. So all this is regarding, the pool. We also have the new water slide. We had the old water slide. Now we have a brand new one, which is actually going to open in about a month from now. We have Camp Soar. And again, if you want to find out about any of these programs, you can call Parks and Rec. They have plays in the park, which take place through various weekends throughout the summer. You have youth basketball and t-ball and softball, which is October through February. You have kid paint nights, which they host regularly. These are various Friday and Saturday nights. You have kids drawing classes, which are every Thursday afternoon. They have chess club on Monday afternoons. Also, the Grange Hall does chess. Okay. You have kids safe self-defense classes on Monday afternoons and Saturday mornings. This is all hosted by Parks and Rec, by the way. You have Stagehands Theater. So this is a little pop-up theater kind of thing. These are Thursday afternoons during the school year, week-long camps during the summer. So this is all part of Stagehands. So you get your kids into theater and stuff. Then you also have a karate thing that Parks and Rec does, and that's Tuesdays and Wednesday evenings. Those are just programs and classes, okay? Then we have events. We have the Summer movie series. They play kids' movies, like they play Lilo and Stitch and Cars and all these kinds of things in the park on big blow-up screens. The family can come out, they can picnic and have food and watch. They do that all through the summer. We have the Saturday markets, which they have kid themes all the time. You have back to school theme. We have the Touch a Truck this weekend. They have various themes for kids. And there is, even when it's not a kid theme, the Saturday market always has a ton of stuff for kids. Okay. Then you have this new thing called Kids in the Park. This is a new thing they're going to start this summer. I don't know any details about it, but it's called Kids in the Park. It's a big to-do they're working on. Then you have the Galt parades. The Christmas parade is very much kid-oriented, right? You have the breakfast with Santa, the pictures with Santa. You have all the stuff at the Littleton. All that's centered around the Christmas parade, right? And the Christmas parade is very kid-friendly, very kid-oriented. And then you have private things. You have the Old Town Trunk or Treat, which is like 4,000 kids go to the Old Town Trunk or Treat every Halloween. All of Old Town is kids trick or treating.
We already talked about 27,000 Easter eggs.
Yeah, and then we have all the Easter events that are going on. And then in addition to that, we have private things. We have, Iron Dragon Karate, Taekwondo. We have a Taekwondo place here in town. So
the churches have things.
All the churches have.
And there's a ton of churches.
Today I posted a thing asking for, I must have had a ton of churches. We have a vacation Bible camp. We have a different camp. We have this, that. We have these things going during the week. I mean, honestly, people can go, oh yeah, but it's not an arcade, or it's not a John's Incredible Pizza.
It's not some place that I can drop my kid off and come pick him up 4 hours later.
Well, actually, it is. It is. But those
no, I know, but I'm just like, it's like that. That's what people really want is. And I'm gonna tell you something. If your kid comes to you and says, "Hey, mom, I'm bored. Hey, dad, I'm bored," you know what you do? You tell them, "Well, there's a vacuum over there that's not bored, or there's a dust rag and a can of Pledge over there that's not bored. Why don't you use those and unbore yourself?"
But if someone says there's nothing for their kids to do, what people want is they just want to complain and say that there's nothing for their kid to do. There is plenty for kids to do in golf.
But I think here's the thing. This was my thing, Sean, about the whole thing. This argument or this statement has been made for generation after generation after generation. I guarantee you the statement was made when my dad was a kid in the 50s and 60s. It was made when we were kids in the 70s and 80s. It was made every generation this statement gets made about. And every generation says, oh, there's nothing for kids to do. Kids are always just going around getting in trouble. That's not the case.
Right.
That's not the case. Most of the kids, there's always going to be a few bad apples, but most kids are pretty good, and most kids will find things to keep themselves busy. And, somebody mentioned fishing spot. I used to go fishing on Sundays. We'd go to church, and after church, myself and Jason Harris would go fishing out in Harold, right? We found you find things to do.
And I will just finish off with,
although in North Dakota there is nothing for kids to do. It's pretty boring out there. I'll tell you that.
I'm going to disagree with Corky on that. I'm going to disagree with Corky on this right now. Our churches do a lot of cool stuff that's like no strings. They don't even do them at the churches themselves. They do them out somewhere else, and they're just trying to do them because they want to give back to the community. I know a lot of people that run the churches, so I'm just telling you, I disagree with you on that one. But listen, if your kids have special needs, I'm going to go even one further. We have great things going on in town for special needs kids. They do what's called a STARS program at Parks and Rec at the Cibola. Every month they have a lunch or a fun festivity that's sponsored by a business in town where it's for special needs. Then they have the Horizon Church does the Night to Shine event, which is a massive event that I just attended, and that's all for special needs. So again, it's almost tiring going on and on about all the stuff that there is.
I think, Sean, again, and we've had this conversation. I think that the arguments that you always hear are the same arguments that have been made for decades. Yeah. It's nothing new. Galt needs this, Galt needs that. Whether it's Galt needs something for kids to do, whether it's Galt needs something for business wise. Right. Oh, we need an in and out. We need a whatever it might be, a bowling alley, a theater, whatever it might be, whatever people want it to be. That argument has been made for decades. And even when we get those things, if we get those things, and when we get those things, that argument's still going to be there. There's still, you could have a ton of stuff, which we do.
Right.
You could have even 2 to 3 times as much stuff for kids to do, and people will still say there's nothing for kids to do.
But my point is this. This is the point I'm making.
Red e-bikes.
This is the point that I make, though, regarding this comment that was made. Then continue that. Keep saying that stuff. Fine, because you said it'll go on forever, right? Go on the internet and go, I don't know. I just don't feel like there's a lot of things for kids to do. Or go on there and say, oh, my kid just says he's bored a lot. I wish there was something like such and such that my kid to do. I wouldn't agree with that person because I feel like there's a lot to do. But don't go on the internet and say, this town has never done anything to support children. You're basically putting a blanket on every church, every volunteer person, whatever, that we just don't support kids.
Know, but
that's an ignorant comment. I'm just going to say.
Well, there's a lot of ignorant comments people make, and I think that's the problem.
That one's extra.
Yeah, I know, but I don't think.
Sorry.
To me, it's no different than saying Galt's going to be the next Oak Grove and things like that. And I don't pay much attention to people that say things.
But anyways, but look, it's just that one.
Pick up basketball.
That one just caught me up. That one just really rubbed me the wrong way because it's just disappointing that people would really say we never did any support.
You know what I did when I was bored? I'd read a book, or I'd play with my Hot Wheels, or I'd go outside and I'd find a stick and pretend I was playing. Army or something.
What I would tell people is, if you think there should be
walnuts, I used to hit walnuts off the tree.
Okay, we need to stop there.
I mean,
that's what are you talking about right now?
We had a walnut tree. Pick them up.
Dan, you're not helping the case we're trying to make right now by talking about throwing walnuts.
What I'm saying is, if you're bored, you find something to do.
My God.
You use your imagination. You organize a wiffle ball. I'm
going to go on Facebook tomorrow. What we need to open is a walnut throwing place.
How many times did you play a game with maybe your friends or your neighbors, right? And maybe there was 3 of you or 4 of you or 5 of you, right?
Listen.
No. Let me finish.
Dan's Incredible Walnuts. That's what we're going to call it.
Let me finish.
It's going to be.
How many times as a kid did you play a game and it wasn't a game? It wasn't like, hey, we're going to play baseball or we're going to play basketball. You would create a game based on the amount of kids you had, and you say, okay, well, here's the rule. You know, you got to touch this first, you got to do that first, or whoever stands up first, or whatever it is. You create games. You use your imagination. And the problem, so you're going to tell me with a comment like that, Lady Maid, you're going to tell me that kids today just don't have the imagination to keep themselves from being bored. Is that what the problem is? I don't think so. I think it's just, you know what? I think people just like to complain.
Actually, I don't think it's the kids that are bored at all. I don't think the kids are actually saying that I don't think it's the kids that are complaining. I think it's the parents. The parents think, oh, there's nothing for my kid to do in town. Do you think that little Johnny's walking in and go, Mom, Dad, there's really nothing in golf for me to do? No, I think it's the parents that say that. I think that maybe little Johnny maybe doesn't know of all the things. I bet you if the parent said, well, honey, I actually found out about 10, 15 things that are going on in town. Are you interested in any of those? And they go, oh yeah, that sounds great, Mom. I'm interested in that. Can I go check out that, thing that Parks and Rec or whatever?
The library all the time.
Yeah.
We have a great public library. There's things going on there all the time.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, as a parent, part of your job as a parent is you should know what your kids' interests are. And so, yeah, if you hear about, hey, my kids are into D&D. Somebody mentioned D&D. Hey, my kid's in D&D. Oh, hey, I heard that there's going to be a club.
There is
coming up.
There is.
Do you want? Hey, Billy, do you want to maybe check this out Friday or Saturday or whatever?
Yeah.
So as a parent, that's part of your job is to know what your kids are into and to find those things for them to participate in. If you think they're bored.
Yeah. Are you off your soapbox now?
I am now.
There's also
don't interrupt me, Dan.
There's also some businesses like the Color Wheel. That place is awesome.
Right.
There's a lot of businesses in town that actually offer things for kids. Now, again, it might not be something that your particular kid is into. I get that. But the thing of it is, there is lots to do. I think that the children maybe don't know about some of this stuff. So I think the parents need to be doing their due diligence. Get on the internet, get on social media, and find this stuff and go to your kid, go to your son or daughter and go, hey, did you know there's this thing going on? I think it'd be great for you. Maybe you should get into that. Because I know some friends who kids are in so many different things. It's like, how do they even keep up with all the stuff that they're into?
But let me ask you another question. How many things do kids participate in or get involved in? Let's say it's BMX racing, or let's say it's
D&D club.
Yeah, but what are some of the things that kids get into? Because it's what the parents want them to be a part of.
Yeah.
Not necessarily what the kids want to be a part of.
Sports is a big
but
one.
What the parents, right? Exactly. I'm thinking like these club league softball, or I don't know what they call them, the traveling clubs and stuff. How many of those are because the parents really want them involved? Not so much the kids. Like, have that conversation. Say, hey, is this something you really want to do? Like, I don't know. I just.
Yeah. The point we make, folks, is that we are a small town, but there is lots of things to do. Can there be some other fun things to do if we had a Chuck E. Cheese, or maybe if we had a movie theater, if somebody was to ever build a movie theater, which is not likely, or if somebody was to ever build a bowling alley, which may not be likely.
Well, I heard a rumor.
Oh, no.
Can I go it?
All right.
Can I share it?
All right.
You got it?
So just let me tee this up. Some people have been very against, not a lot, but some people have been very upset about the Maverick gas station coming. So let me just throw it out there. Hypothetically, would you be okay with the Maverick?
I heard
if
I got this picture sent to me today.
Was this from the planning department?
I heard that Mavericks is building a bowling alley and a movie theater as part of the truck. The gas station.
Yeah. So we're asking, would you be okay with that, viewers? We're just asking for a friend. Would you be okay with Maverick? By the way, Mavericks is spelled wrong.
Well, you could thank AI for this whole stupid thing.
Yeah.
This was actually going to be my April Fool's joke for today.
Yeah, this is not true.
This isn't true.
It's not true. It's not
this
true.
Was going to be my AI joke of the day. It was going to be that Mavericks was going to build a bowling alley and movie theater as part of the.
Yeah. Now we're going to hear about this on social media yesterday.
Yeah, I know.
City Councilman Farmer and Planning Commissioner Dinner said they're going to be a bowling alley. Yeah,
you knew it was a joke when you looked at the diesel price, right?
Exactly. We knew it was fake. We saw diesel for $3.59. I knew that was a scam. Fake.
I had to come up.
Liar.
I went through like 4 different images to try to get to this one.
Dude, you know what's crazy
is?
You know what's crazy is diesel is more than double that price.
Right. Oh, it's ridiculous.
That's not even, dude, gas isn't even $3.59.
It would be, I'll tell you what, on a serious note, it would kill me if I was still working, driving up to Woodland every day for work. I don't know how people are doing it.
Yeah, it's nuts, man. Anyways, so we're gonna move off the subject, but anyways, and just so the city doesn't
This
shut
is a
things
joke.
down.
This is a joke. This is a joke.
The city doesn't shut movie theaters down. The city doesn't shut bowling alleys down, and they also don't build those things. Just want to put that out there. So, but you know what?
We do have some new restaurants in town. I heard that there's a new place up there by
Squeeze with the old Squeeze In.
Squeeze In. They've opened
Yeah.
up.
What do they serve?
I think it's Indian food, but I'm not sure. And then there's the Wingstop going in next to the donut shop up there. They put the sign up the other day. So and then grocery outlets getting ready to open.
So
there's some new stuff coming. There is new stuff coming.
So with that, with the talk of grocery outlet and Wingstop, that will be a great segue into our next conversation, which is, and the reason I thought about talking about this is because our friend JT Thomas did a short video, it was very short about this.
Watch it.
I wasn't very happy with his first intro statement. Him and I actually talked about this, but he said, I think he teed it up where it's like, he phrased it where it's, should the city of Galt allow a chain restaurant to open in Galt? And he said, should we? And when you tee it up like that, it almost makes it sound like there is a plausible choice of you can stop something, whatever. That's not how it works, folks. You can't just, planning commissioners don't sit around and go, yeah, you know what? We know you'd really like to move in Galt, but you're a chain restaurant. Sorry, guys, can't do it. You know, you whatever. It doesn't work like that. Right. As a matter of fact, how many businesses, the only time a business actually has to go through planning, as long as it conforms with zoning, they just have to get a business permit, whatever. The only time a business has to go through planning is if it needs a conditional use permit. And those are things like liquor stores, tobacco stores, a tattoo actually falls in there, some stuff like that, right? You have to get a condition.
There's certain things like drive-through.
No. But I'm talking about saying there's an existing building and someone wants to start a business. Okay. Now, new projects when you're going to build a plaza like the Maverick Plaza or something like that,
and drive-through,
all that stuff has to go through a process. But it doesn't. But it doesn't go through the process where you guys get to it and go, nope, sorry, we're not doing that. You work with the developer to figure out what concerns there are and get it down out. But you can't typically just flat out say no. Now, if it required an annexation or some kind of thing where the property didn't exist or the zoning had to be changed, you could say, you know what? We don't want the corner of, for example, here's a great example. The corner of Carillion and Elk Hills. No, I'm sorry. The corner of Carillion and Walnut. So you know where Community Park is, and then there's the veranda houses, and there's the Parlin Oaks. There's that empty lot. There's that empty big field on the one corner that's not developed. Side. There has been many people that have wanted to put a gas station in there, and the city said no because it's not zoned for that. And that's the kind of case where we can say, well, it's not zoned for that. That's not the right type of retail user that we want, because it is commercial on the corner, but they don't want that kind of user. What they really would want would be like a little plaza where you have like for somebody presented at one time, it was kind of like, in Lodi by Lowe's, they have the Panera Bread and there's the Buffalo Wild Wings and there's that little single story kind of plaza. It's not a big box plaza. It's a little plaza. Something like that was what they were looking at for that corner, but they don't want it to be a huge overbearing traffic.
Right. We had something come before planning a couple years ago now on that project, and they were going to put in like condo style housing
on the
majority of it,
on the backside,
with the trail that went around it and all this stuff. But then on the corner there, it was going to be like you're talking, where it's going to be commercial, but it was going to be the type of commercial where maybe like an ice cream parlor was the look of it, maybe a sit down restaurant. We were hoping for the type of commercial that the neighborhood could walk to, and it could be like a community commercial site type thing. It wasn't going to have a big grocery store or anything like that. It was just going to be some smaller sit down type, you walk your dog and maybe get an ice cream and go home or something.
So in that situation, you guys say, well, the zoning doesn't comply, so we're not going to do that. But generally speaking, when someone wants to open a business, it just requires a business license and they have to go through proper thing. And of course, if it's a restaurant, they have to have county health permits.
There are some restrictions within the city, though. There are certain businesses that have to come before us.
I just said that. Yeah.
Like,
tobacco stores, liquor stores,
parlors,
things that they require what's called a conditional use permit, CUP. So they go before planning, there's a fee, and then planning reviews it and then decides if they want to put restrictions or let it, whatever. But typically we're not stopping certain businesses. The thing is too, we're not, there was a comment made that said, I feel like all Galt has is chain restaurants. What we need more small businesses. Back in such and such year, it was all small businesses, and we're not like that anymore. Well, I did some little research, and I have to tell you, people, did you know that small businesses, and when I say small business, I mean sole proprietor, not a part of a franchise. If I went out and got a franchise for a McDonald's, that I'm not calling that a sole proprietor. That to me is a chain corporate restaurant. I'm talking about a non-corporate, family-owned mom and pop. Maybe it's ran by the family, maybe it's not, but it's a single one-off, or it's ran by a family. Maybe they have a couple locations, but it's a small mom and pop type thing versus a chain corporate, big box, like McDonald's, Taco Bell, Walmart, whatever, right? The small businesses outnumber the chain restaurants in Galt more than 3-1. 3-1, people. 3-1. It's not, do them. You can look at it yourself. I'm just going to give you a little glimpse of some of the things. I'm not going to go through the whole list, but just to give you an idea, these are mom and pop businesses in Galt. You have Velvet Grill, Spawn's Cookies, Wild Heart Bakery, The Mix Up. You have the Coffee Shop Bakery, Old Town Barbershop, Next Gen Barbershop. You have the Tattoo Salon. You have Back Alley Brew House. You have Laheim. You have Brewster's. You have Stevie Boys. You have River Rock Brewery. You have the Tobacco Store in the Save Mart Plaza. You have Galt Smog. You have Giddens Brothers. You have Morisco's, Papa's and Wings, Old Town Diner, Aroma Bakery, Thrift Store. You have Galt Tax, the Antique Store, Mama Sushi, Las Pastosas, Fitness Pro, Softcom, Brian's Auto, G&G, Galt, blah, blah, blah. I have about 65 more names on this list that I'm reading from right now, people. These are all mom and pop businesses. And you know how many chains we got? Like 30. We got Walmart, Save Mart, the big ones. And then you have all your fast food. That's it. It blows my mind that people literally think that Galt is just overwhelmed with chains.
Right.
But it raises an interesting conversation. Chains actually serve an important piece in our community. Think about this, for example. What's one of the biggest chain things you can think of that's in Galt right now?
Walmart.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Do you know how many jobs that Walmart provides? Now, mind you, those jobs, I could tell you with almost full certainty that if Walmart didn't exist, that those jobs could not be found somewhere else in the community. When it comes to, there's something very important to remember about mom and pop businesses. I love mom and pop businesses. I know that everybody romanticizes about Galt back in the day when it's mom and pop business. I remember those days. And I run a mom and pop business, as you all know. And I love towns that have that. But most mom and pop businesses are not big job providers, right? Some of the times are family ran and they don't even hire outside, right? Walmart in Galt provides a huge Walmart and Tractor Supply and Save Mart and all these things that are chains and rest. They supply a lot of jobs, right? Good jobs, good jobs that have benefits and things like that, right? The small mom and pops aren't really going to be able to do a lot of the time, sometimes, but not all the time. So that's one thing, right? But Dan, let me ask you. I'll let you. What's another important amenity that
the donations they make to the schools, and the donations they make to the clubs, and the donations they make. Anytime you go to an event, right, and there's a sponsors list, not
always the big box though.
The big names you're going to see are going to be the bigger names usually. You're going to see Walmart's going to be one of the biggest. But if you were to go through and ask Walmart how much they made in donations to the community last year,
that's true.
I think people would actually be quite surprised at what that figure looks like. Les Schwab, take Les Schwab. Les Schwab goes to the county fair every year. And every year, every Les Schwab store in Sacramento County goes, and they spend probably hundreds of thousands of dollars buying animals. Les Schwab as a company spends hundreds of thousands of dollars every year buying animals at the county fair to support our kids.
So, but also let's talk about amenities though. Let's talk about things that Walmart provides that we can't get anywhere else. Like clothing, for example. There's not. I mean, you can go to Tractor Supply, get some clothes, but again, now you have Tractor Supply and Walmart carrying things that you really just can't even buy anywhere else in Galt.
But not in Galt, right? But now I buy all my clothes online.
I know, but you're I don't know why you're getting off the point. You know what the point I'm making. I don't know why you're trying to derail my point.
But before Walmart came, how many individual clothing stores did we have in Galt? Now we do have a couple. There's one on Lincoln Way. There's a clothing store on Lincoln Way by the bakery. Yeah, by the bakery, by the Roman bakery.
Yeah, but
there's one there. But you can't say it's not. That's a mom and pop shop that sells clothes.
But let me make a point to you. If Walmart just didn't exist tomorrow, 99% of the people that are going to buy clothes, where are they going to go? Out of town.
Yeah, more likely than not. They're going to go, right, because that's where the Kohl's and things like that are.
So the point I make is that some of these chains, they bring something that we don't have. And then another thing is, let me make this point. Let's look at pizza parlors. Here's an interesting for you. So Stratton's Pizza is a mom and pop pizza place, right? And you have all these other franchise ones. You have Domino's, you have Little Caesars, you have Mountain Mike's, you have Round Table, right? You have all these, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you got rid of all those pizza places and said, if the city of Galt could, and they can't do this, but if they say, you know what, we're not going to let any franchise or chain pizza places in Galt. We're only going to allow mom and pops. So what would we have right now? We'd have Stratton's Pizza. That'd be it. Okay. And now I love Stratton's. Stratton's, by the way, is coming on as one of our sponsors here very soon. But as good as I like Stratton's and I think they're great and they give to the community and all that stuff, Galt couldn't survive with just one pizza place. If you wanted to order a pizza, it'd be like a 5-hour wait. They wouldn't even be able to. They would literally be so inundated it would be ridiculous. It's not practical.
But none of the businesses, whether you're a chain store, whether you're a mom and pop, none of the businesses would survive if there wasn't a need for them in the community. If there's not a need for something, the whole idea of business is you create a business or you open a business to fill a need.
Right.
If there's no need for that in the community, and so if we're flooded by one type of business, like if you have too many, then it's the strong survive.
Yeah, Nate made a good point, which is really one of the biggest points that we haven't touched yet, is these users are massive. And I say massive with like a capital M, massive sales tax contributors. Walmart is the leading sales tax contributor to the city of Galt, followed by some other ones. The point, how important that is, that you guys don't even realize, that money is what funds police officers in our town. It's money that pays for our parks to get mowed. It's the what builds that water slide that we just got. All that tax dollars, if you didn't have that tax money, I'm going to tell you, the community would look a lot different because we wouldn't have those funds. Those funds really, really, really are important. And you can't say, well, it can't just be about money. It's got to be about the small town. But I'm telling you, they serve a huge need. Those things fund our parades. That money funds all those things, right? And then the last thing I would point out is what you were just saying about a business. People say, well, but when you bring the chains in, you kill the small businesses. That is an argument that is tough to debunk, right? In some respects, you could say it's true to a point. It could do that. But here's the thing. If you have a small business, if you have a good product and you have a product that's in need and you do a good business, the chains are not going to hurt you.
Well, I can
give you case in points for that.
But I think the thing is, let's say we had that. Let's say we had that one pizza joint that's been here for 50 years, and that was the only pizza joint we had, right? And then the city says, "Hey, we're going to open 3 chain pizza joints within the next year." Is that going to hurt that one? Likely, but you know what else? That one that's been there 50 years. Probably also, as long as they have a good product,
yeah,
they're also going to have their loyal.
But it don't even have to be. It don't even got to be 50 years, Dan.
No.
Stratton's Pizza has been here like 10 years.
That's not what I'm saying, though. What I'm saying is, if you have a small town and you have one diner in that town, or you have one type of business, and that's the only type of business you have for 100 miles around, and then you want to bring in these big chains. If you bring in multiple big chains, yeah, is that going to affect that business? Yes. But if that business it brings competition is what it brings. And if that business is well established with good food and a good reputation and like you said, it doesn't have to be 50. So just take Stratton's. Stratton's has good food. Mm-hmm. They have good prices. They have good reputation. So that's why they survive. That's how you beat David versus Goliath.
Right.
That's how you beat them.
Right.
It's not because, hey, these chain restaurants are better, because they're not necessarily better.
But for someone to come to Stratton's and say, we're hurting Stratton's Pizza because we have pizza. I mean, I can't even there's at least off the top of my head, 7 or 8, maybe even 10 other pizza places in Galt. I think it's more like 7 or 8 other than Stratton's. Okay. Stratton's does great business. They just opened a second location in Lockford. They do great, right? So let me ask someone, if you think that the chain restaurant kills the little guy, then why is Stratton's Pizza not out of business right now? It's a valid question. Why?
I just said, because it then creates a competition. You have to have a better product. You have to have good prices. You have to have better service. It creates better. It creates better.
Here's a good example for you.
If Stratton's had terrible pizza and their prices were higher than anything else and the service was terrible, they would not still be here.
I agree. Here's another great example for you on this exact subject. Galt Food Center, formerly IGA, Galt Supermarket, right? You Save Mart came in, you're like, well, that's it for them. They're done, right? Guess what? They're still there. Then guess what? Rayleigh's came in. Oh, Rayleigh's go. Now they're really done. Then Walmart. Oh, Walmart. That's it. That's the death nail. Galt Super's not going to survive. Guess what? You go in there, the place is still doing real good business because they have a certain clientele and they have a certain niche and they're doing great. And the people that are shopping there are loyal for the reasons that they are loyal. So even then, where you think there's no way that business could survive with the super Walmart over here with the grocery, whatever, but yet they do. And this is the interesting thing. My coffee shop, let me give you another example. When I opened my coffee shop, when Heather and I opened our coffee shop, there was no other coffee shop in Galt that wasn't a mom and pop. You had Cafe Latte, you had It's a Grind. It's a Grind sort of franchise, but it was ran by a local guy, Tim, right? So, and in that time, in the 9 years we've been in business, now you have 2 Starbucks and a Dutch Brothers. We do more business now than we did 9 years ago. Because we just have a certain client. We have business. We our customers come to us for a certain reason. What I get to is the narrative that when you bring chains in, that you are ruining a town because you're driving out small business and crushing small business. What I would say to that is you're going to crush the small business that probably was going to struggle or wasn't doing good business anyways. If a supermarket comes in, and the other local supermarket goes out of business, it's probably because the only reason people were shopping at that first one is because it was the only one here and there was nothing else, but they were just begging for a different choice. Do you see the point I'm making? That's probably the only reason. If they can't evolve and be competitive, then that's just free market, man. That's just how the world works. So, and again, too, if I had a family of 6 and had to choose subpar pizza for $50 over real quality pizza for $30, it's hard to choose a small business. I disagree with you again, Corky. I disagree because you know what's strange is, we were just talking about this the other day. We were somewhere out of town. Oh, we were at Black Bear. We went to Black Bear Diner because we went to Elk Grove to visit a friend in the hospital, and we stopped at Black Bear to get breakfast. Okay, and she mixed it up. Yeah, and Black Bear. How many people were in there waiting to get a table, Dan? 40, 50 maybe, right? Mm-hmm. And we had to wait 30 minutes.
So the one argument though I would make is that if you actually compare I get what your argument is, but if you had compared the prices, I think you'd see that you can get good quality food for a price. Some of the chain pizza places we have, they're a lot higher than the mom and pop ones. But anyway,
yeah.
Are we doing this?
Yeah, we're gonna do it, but no, we're not done yet.
Well, I know, but somebody's got to go.
Who's got to go? No. So anyway, so the point we make is that it's just, people are always talking like, why are you letting, In-N-Out Burger in? Why are you letting Target in? Why are you going to let, these businesses that hypothetically could be coming to Galt with this new plaza, that you're going to crush the other people? You're not going to crush the other people. And this is the last hypothetical that I'll bring before we get off the subject. This is what happens. Let's say that you're going to go school shopping for clothes for little Johnny, right? Well, there's just not a lot of choice in here, right? Let's say that they don't want to go to Walmart and get their clothes. I don't want to go get my clothes at Walmart, Mom, Dad. I want to go somewhere else. So they go to Elk Grove, right? And while they're in Elk Grove buying school clothes, then they go, well, let's grab some dinner. Where are they going to get dinner, Dan? They're going to get dinner in Elk Grove. They're going to get someplace in Elk Grove because that's where they're shopping. When you create things in Galt like TJ Maxx or Old Navy or Target or whatever places, as you start adding these amenities, you start keeping people in Galt and they're shopping in Galt. And then they're like, hey, let's go ahead and get some dinner. Where were you dinner? Now they could go to the newer restaurant that's maybe over in the plaza, but you know where else they might go? They might go to Velvet Grill or they might go to Stratton's Pizza. They might go to a mom and pop. They might go to Las Islitas or Pastosas to have Italian food. So you're keeping people in town. You're keeping that money in town. When you keep people shopping here, you give people variety, and you give people choices. It tends to keep people in town more, and that is a plus for the community. Would you agree?
Yeah.
So anyways, yeah, just like Rick said, 2 Taco Bells, 2 McDonald's, 2 Starbucks, ain't nothing being crushed. Yeah, Stevie Boys, it seems like it's doing great business. And they just opened and with all those other places in town. So, yeah.
Well, the other thing, too, is, with some of it comes down to service, though, too, or convenience. I can go through a drive-through restaurant and pick up a burger and go home.
Oh, West Coast said that they opened up a cotton. What is that, JT? I've never even heard of that place before. Is that Cotton On? Cotton On? Is that what it is? Cotton On? I've never heard of it. Well, we know where JT gets his clothes. Hey, we're not as fancy as you, JT. We don't.
Cotton On, by the way, is a clothing brand.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. You're way too bougie for us, man. Sorry. Corky said a last comment. She said a lot of big box stores outprice small mom and pops, and then mom and pops can't afford to be available as a big box. But mom and pops aren't opening big box stores, though. That's not a business model that mom and pops are opening, unless you're talking about like a hardware store or something. So let's talk about. Remember Weathers Hardware?
Mm-hmm.
Family run operation was here forever. Now let's say that we still had Weathers Hardware, and then we had a Home Depot open in Galt. Okay. One could easily say, well, that's going to crush Weathers Hardware. They don't have a chance. But you know what? I bet you there would be a lot of people that would still go into Weathers because they like the service. They like going in there and they like supporting the small town, whatever. Now, if Weathers didn't have lumber, then they're probably going to go to the Home Depot, right? But to say that is absolutely, with no questions asked, the end of Weathers Hardware, that's a myth.
Yeah, I think there's a little difference in certain things, though. On a case like that, I think if you have a long established business and then a new business comes in, I think the long established business may have a little bit easier time of surviving. If you already had, say, a Home Depot in town, and somebody and a mom and pop wanted to open a hardware store to compete against them, then I think there might be a little bit harder time on them unless they have a certain niche that they meet, unless they have a service or a price or they can get better lumber, they can get cheaper lumber, whatever. Unless there's something specific that they can meet that makes them better than that big guy, I think it would be harder to compete at that point. But if they're already established, I think it's a little bit easier for them to survive sometimes.
But I think, like you said, in the world of business, and any of you have owned a business or do own a business, it really is, it's the survival of the fittest. You have to be competitive. You have to offer a good service. You have to have a good price. You don't necessarily have to be the cheapest place in town. You don't necessarily have to have the best food in town. But if you provide a good service and you provide a good, honest product to people and you treat people right, you're going to have business. And, people are going to move in and compete with you. And it's not going to be easy.
And I think one thing about Weathers people have to remember, too, is that, it was family owned, family ran, and they were getting up there in age.
Well, they closed because the son Noel didn't want to run it anymore,
and he passed away not long after. So I mean, it's not, Ace came in and probably took some of their business, but it's one of those things where there's other reasons why places close. I mean, it's not always because there's competition. Sometimes it's a matter of just the family's looking to retire.
Stroked Mustang 66 says, look at how many automotive shops we have in Galt, and they're all doing good. We have O'Reilly's, we have AutoZone, we have Napa. They're all doing good, right? Here's what's interesting. If you got rid of, let's go back and say we had the little mom and pop, Galt Auto Parts store, right? Like we had way back in the day. Let's say we had that, right? And you got rid of all these franchise. So the city of Galt said, we're not going to allow any franchise. So I hope Stroke Mustang 66 is listening to this. So we're going to get rid of all the franchise chain auto parts store. No O'Reilly's, no AutoZones, none of those. We're just going to have the little Galt auto parts store, and we're going to let him be the monopoly in town on auto parts. Do you think that every person in town, when they go buy auto parts, is going to automatically go to that auto parts? No. Probably going to chance that they probably don't have what they need, and they're going to go outside and get it somewhere else. Because that's the thing when you have one store, sometimes they don't have all the needs, so they leave the community and go somewhere else. That happened a lot in older Galt. It happened a lot. It happened with the movie theater. We used to go see the movies, and we didn't go to the movie theater in Galt because it sucked. We went to one in Lodi. Those are the examples I make. So again, you see the point we're trying to make. I just wanted to, make sure that people understood how many small businesses we have in Galt. But make sure you support your small businesses because they do need your love. And there's a lot of them in town. They do great. And I am proud to say that in Galt, we have a huge, huge amount of small businesses and probably a lot more than many other towns have. So we're going to give away something real quick, and then I have something to announce before we go off air. So don't go away just yet. I know this is from L'Chaim. I know that some of you are like, oh, we want something that's for boys. This is not for boys, for girls. This is cool stuff. But anyways, this is L'Chaim. They make all kinds of handmade stuff. Thank you, L'Chaim and Gail, for always giving us stuff to give away. There's a handmade quilt in here. This is really cool, actually. And there's a list. Here's all the stuff that's in this bag. Okay. And we're going to give this away to someone that can tell me in the chat. This is the question. All right. Who can tell me what year the first skating rink closed? We mentioned it and said the skating rink closed in a certain year. And if somebody heard me say it, they can put the year up right now and they can win this gift right here and they can give it away to their friend. No, it's not the 1983. That was the movie theater. No, it wasn't 1963. So we're gonna leave. All right, we'll let people. You're close. You guys are real close. Real close. There it is. 1964. Good job, Miguel Lawrence. 1964, Miguel. Good job. So shoot us a message
utility
on
bag, tooth fairy pillow, bucket hat, microwave bowl, koozie, mini wallet. With lanyard, quilt, and a market bag is what you just won. So
shoot us a message on Instagram, Miguel, or you can email us at greatamericanlittletown@gmail.com, and I'll make arrangements to get this to you. So the announcement I want to make is on a couple of our upcoming shows before we sign off the air right now. So our next show, we are going to have, and I've mentioned this before, we are going to have Maddie Delbrug from Parker Realty. Where's Parker Realty? Up here. She's going to be on the show talking about a whole bunch of information about the new houses in Galt. She's going to tell you all about each one, where they're being built, what, as a realtor, which ones, she thinks pros and cons about each one, what incentives. So if you know anybody in a market for a new home, or you're looking yourself and you want to know, or you're just curious about the new homes and what they're priced at and which ones are building the best ones, because they're all being built by different people, we're going to share all that information with you. On the 15th of April, Dan's going to be gone because that's what retired people do, is they travel. So we're going to have a guest host on the show.
That's tax day.
I will announce that guest host very soon. So we'll have a guest host on to fill Dan's shoes for that one show, and we'll try to make a great show of it without you. And then on the 22nd, we have Mr. Mark Jackson. Mark Jackson is the owner and one of our sponsors at Old Next Generation Barbershop, and he's also a planning commissioner. And he'll have some interesting stuff to talk about, and something that's kind of some big news that he'll probably be sharing with everybody. So tune in next week. Tune in the 15th for a surprise co-host, and then tune in on the 22nd to see Mark.
Even if we charge new houses a fee, it wouldn't be enough to widen the freeway, and you also can't use the money from the houses to go towards widening the freeway because that's a gas tax and that's Caltrans.
That is a good subject for another show, though. But
they do pay, new houses do pay impact fees to go to the schools, and
they do pay a lot. They pay a ton. Yeah. But so anyway, so I want to thank everybody for giving us your time tonight.
We can touch on that next week.
We ran a little bit over. So from Dan and I and Kaylin, and for all of you, and to our astronauts that are speeding through space right now at 30-some thousand miles per hour, Godspeed to you. You make us proud. I know you can't hear us talking, but honestly, it's pretty exciting, and you guys are making history tonight. So thank you again for our sponsors, and have a good night. Be safe.
And happy Easter.
And happy Easter. And we'll see you next week, everybody.
My Easter egg shirt on today.
Oh, is that your Easter egg shirt?
That's my Easter egg shirt.
I couldn't tell.
Two guys on the mic, Sean and Dan, talking small town life where it all began. God's got charming stories to spare, from the city news to the country air. The great American little town, where the news is small, but the pride's profound. Grab a coffee, sit back, it's all going down on the great American little town. Sports goes in a parade. Dan cracks a joke, Sean throws some shade. Local